Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to ask the question, can Mastodon save the Dungeons and Dragons Twitter liberal? All right, so let's define our terms. What is Mastodon and what is Dungeons and Dragons Twitter liberal? So let's define Dungeons and Dragons first. All right, let's find D&D Twitter liberal first. So a D&D Twitter liberal is someone who tweets more than 100 times a year about Dungeons and Dragons, okay? And they are a liberal. So they voted for Hillary Clinton once in their life, or they voted for Biden once in their life, or they, and they're super liberal, right? Like they are opposed to the entire Republican playbook, okay? That's a liberal. And so a D&D Twitter liberal posts at least 100 times a year about D&D. I can guarantee you 80% of that is going to be complaints about D&D. And they also tweet, I think this is required too because it's an absolute constant. They use Twitter to complain about Twitter. I cannot believe, just to be clear, okay, let's put this in perspective. If you run across some fool using a platform to complain about the platform, they have already failed their insight check, and you should probably ignore every single thing they are saying, right? I don't use YouTube to complain about YouTube. That would make me a stark raving idiot, right? And I'm not one, right? And I can't believe how many people do this. They'll be like, Twitter sucks. Here's my tweet that says Twitter sucks. Like, dude, you're saying a lot more about yourself than you are about Twitter, right? Like, so if anybody uses a platform to complain about the platform, that person is a fool. You know, like, you could just write them off right there. So, and I'm going to say it, a lot of D&D Twitter, D&D Twitter liberals are fools. Just like, that's the whole of it, right? Like, it's just, sadly, that's where we're at, right? And so, now, I know I can hear you like, wait a second, aren't you a D&D Twitter liberal? I think I'm not, and the reason why is, one, I don't use Twitter to complain about Dungeons and Dragons as I say I have a Dungeons and Dragons channel, right? Like, I don't understand. That seems so incredibly obvious, and I can't believe how many people are failing. Like, they're like, oh, this is the main subject of my channel. All I do is complain about the thing. Like, holy cows, professor over at Tolarian Academy, are you listening? Or like, ugh. All right, yeah, West Coast Grognard. You talk about D&D constantly. Apparently you hate it. Like, seems pretty clear, right? Like, I can't believe how many people do this. Like, you know, just like, oh, this is my main channel. Yeah, I'm all about D&D. Mostly I complain about it. It's astounding. Like, this seems like it should be just super simple, right? So that's what a D&D... and so why am I not a D&D Twitter liberal? I am one, I vote for Republicans, and I've voted for a lot more Republicans than I've ever voted for Democrats. And then two, right? But you know, it's your choice. You can put me in whatever bucket you want. And then the other thing is, I'm absolutely thrilled that Elon Musk bought Twitter. Like, this is going to make Twitter a lot better. So one, every D&D commentator is now, oh, should I leave Twitter? And having that conversation on Twitter. The fact that you're having the conversation on Twitter gives you your answer, fool. Like, if you're discussing on Twitter whether you're going to leave Twitter, I think we already got your answer, right? And just to be clear, there's a ton of D&D Twitter liberals right now having this conversation, and the vast majority of them are saying, yeah, I'm going to stay, right? So what is Mastodon? Mastodon is a Twitter competitor, right? And so if you're not happy with Twitter, you can go over and you can get on Mastodon, right? That's the idea. The reality is that's not at all true, right? Why is that not a reality? Here's why. I'll tell you. If you go over to Mastodon, you're going to discover what everybody else who goes over to Mastodon is. It's like standing in a giant empty warehouse and shouting and wondering if there's anybody in the dark. There's nobody there, right? So that's the issue with Mastodon. You tweet, you can get like routinely, Twitter will send me a message, say, hey, your post got 30 likes, right? 30 views, right? I'm like, that's great. Just bog standard, you know. I'm posting like my notes from our Sunday sermon, and those are getting like 30 views, right? And I've had ones get far hundreds and hundreds of, I think maybe I've had a tweet go over 1,000 views, and I'm very happy with what Twitter does. It gives me the best people with the best ideas, and it carries my message extremely well, and it has never dropped my message. Mastodon is an empty hole. You want to go into a dark empty hole and shout till your lungs are bare and hope somebody hears you? Have fun. And that's the reality. Is Mastodon just ain't got the viewers. It's got nobody's there. And if you go over there, that's all you're gonna find. So one, there is a very real conversation in Dungeons and Dragons right now. There are a crap ton of D&D Twitter liberals, right? Is Mastodon going to save them? In my humble opinion, absolutely not. It doesn't have the power to do it. So every single fool who goes over to Mastodon, all they do is they're going to be shouting into an empty hole. It ain't going to save them, right? Mastodon is a waste of your time. Mastodon is a waste of my time. I'm a Dungeons & Dragons commentator, and I'm staying right where it matters, Twitter. And I'm telling you, if you're a D&D commentator, don't be a fool. Do not move over to Mastodon. It ain't going to save you. All that's my humble opinion. I'm eager to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.